Hey, Taylor Rapp here from the LA Rams. Shout out to Steve Taylor, the real sports guy, and the honorary Ram. When Steve's talk sports, you better listen. Thanks, Steve from the Rams, for your continued support and love. We are taking it all the way this year, but you already know that. Go Rams.
It's Albert Prince Bell, 21-0 checking in, and you rocking with Keeping It Real Sports. And we're gonna be on a lot of times. I love the platform. Check in, it's the new wave. Like, follow, subscribe, and do all that good stuff.
Sports.
It's Saturday morning.
Welcome to the Keeping It Real Sports podcast. I am the real sports guy, Steve Taylor. He is the Sandman. Sandman, we got so much to talk about. Man, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, Steve. You know, everybody thinks it's a quiet week in the world of sports. It's never a quiet week on this show. So let's get right into the quick hitters.
Man, it has been moving, man, and we are going to do that. We're going to keep it moving. Let's do what we call the quick hitters. Quick hitters.
All right, Steve Taylor, we're going to start today's show with breaking news. Last night, it was announced that Vince McMahon would finally retire and step down as the CEO of WWE, and his daughter Stephanie will act as a co-CEO with Nick Khan. This shocked the world of sports entertainment. It's going to turn the world of professional wrestling upside down. It's a move I think he had to make, Steve, amidst the allegations that he was paying off women that were trying to sue him for sexual misconduct. But at the same time, he's 77. So I think it's a long time coming. You know?
Wait, hell, man, look, she was behind the scenes anyway. Stephanie McMahon was the face of the company anyway. No big deal.
Well, the thing is about that, he played a big part in the creative side. The scheduling of the matches, the storylines, things like that.
Storylines, he'll continue to do that too.
I think so, but at the same time, it might be refreshing for WWE fans to see a different side without him there. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Speaking of the world of professional wrestling, it was announced that Ric Flair's last match will take place on July 31st. He's going to team up with his new son-in-law, Andre El Idolo, excuse me for that pronunciation, Andrade, I should say. And then Jeff Jarrett is going to come out of retirement and team up with Jay Lethal of AEW. See, it's interesting dynamic there. You got an AEW and a WWE teaming up together to take on your all-time favorite wrestler, my friend.
The greatest, period, in the story.
All right, speaking of the WWE, The Miz took part in the Celebrity Softball All-Star Tournament earlier this week, and he goes out to LA and he wins the All-Star Game MVP. That is not the World Wrestling Federation Championship belt. That is actually the MVP trophy for the Celebrity Softball game. He hit a two-run home run to win the game in extra innings, Steve. You got to give him credit where credit's due.
Yep.
All right, let's move on. Well, the world of LIV Golf continues to be the talk of professional sports. And earlier this week, before we get into that, we had Cameron Smith come from behind, chase down Rory McIlroy, book-ended 2 rounds of 64 to win the British Open. You got to give him his credit. He putted better than anyone I think I've ever seen. And yes, that includes Tiger Woods, ladies and gentlemen, in the final round of a major. It was just something to watch.
Yeah. But,
all right,
yeah,
but
we know the big to this, don't we?
Yeah, well, the story's not over just yet with this graphic because a rumor came out this week, and I think it's going to probably come to fruition, that Greg Norman and the LIV Golf Tour are going to throw $130 million at Cameron Smith to get him away from the PGA Tour. And Steve, other than this one tournament, he's won a couple others, but he really hasn't made a name for himself just yet. Might be the perfect time for him to jump ship.
And see, the LIV Tour continues. That momentum is continuing, Andy. I told you, they're picking up steam. They're looking at big name people that are starting to follow. Man, what other way to stick a fork in the PGA is to get their champion. Look here, this dude already won the Players Championship, so he's this. It ain't going nowhere, man. LIV.
No, it's not going anywhere. And to prove your point, Henrik Stenson earlier this year was announced as the captain of the Ryder Cup team for Europe. Well, he's now going to give up that captaincy because he's going to go and join LIV as well. So he's being stripped of his captaincy for the Ryder Cup. I thought he handled this very well, Steve. He said that he respected their decision, even though he didn't agree with it. He's thankful for all the times he was named on the team. He's won a couple of Ryder Cups as a member of the team. That's why he was named the captain. But, you know, as you always say, my friend, money talks.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Well, to your point about getting big names, here's another big name. David Faraday will leave NBC and become the first broadcaster to join the LIV Golf Tour. And he may not be the only broadcaster because this was the big one this week. Charles Barkley is in discussions. And yes, folks, he is willing to leave his 20-year tenure at Inside the NBA and TNT to join LIV Golf and allow them to really take off. And Steve, if that happens, then we've got a real story to talk about because that's a big name for LIV if they can get Charles Barkley over there.
Andy, I haven't backed off my stance on LIV. They're not going anywhere. I told you that they were going to continue to get big names, and what bigger name than Charles Barkley? In a couple of weeks, we had a discussion whether they were going to be competent as far as visually. Well, they're starting to show you, damn it, they're going to get the viewers. They get Charles Barkley. Guess what they're going to get, Andy? Viewers. Yeah. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people love Charles. That's for sure. And he would be a dynamic personality for them. He's a dynamic personality, anyways. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that. But we had the home run derby this week as well, and Juan Soto came in second last year. He's able to come from behind, hits 19 home runs in the final round to win the 2022 home run derby. But Steve, I have a problem with that because this is the guy that should have won it.
You better know
because he set a record 82 home runs in 3 rounds. That's unheard of.
Man, I hate the way that they just start all over again. I mean, this dude cranked 32 home runs in the first round, for crying out loud, to move on. And then he cracked 30 again. Like, this dude was sensational. Julio Rodriguez is sensational. And what you don't see, people, is he's a big kid and he's still growing. Man, you were worried about home runs in that stadium? Well, that dude didn't have a problem getting rid of it.
No, he didn't. But I was right about one thing. Not a single ball reached 500 feet. So I knew that wasn't going to happen. All right.
Yeah, and I was right about one thing because a left-handed hitter won the doggone won it all.
Yeah. Speaking of the All-Star game, no surprise here. The American League wins their 9th in a row. Steve, they've won 27 of the last 34 All-Star games. To me, it's getting to the point where it's like we might as well start mixing up these rosters because this American League, National League thing is being dominated.
Yeah, can we move on?
He's the Reds fans, folks. Sure, we'll move on and we'll show you the MVP because it was Giancarlo Stanton. He hit a 2-run home run to tie the game. I believe it was in the 4th inning or the 3rd inning. I thought Byron Buxton should have won because his home run won the game.
Yeah, but he followed up right behind him with a towering shot, man. Buxton is an up and comer, man, and I like seeing that, man. Young brothers, man, coming up, man. In the sport.
Well, when he's healthy, Minnesota is tough to beat. That's why they're ahead of the Guardians in the Central right now, because he's a big difference maker for them. All right, we got to keep it rolling. James Harden finally gets his contract done with Philly. He said he'll take less. I don't know if this is that much less. 2 years, $68.5 million. What do you think about him signing this deal in particular? And can he help Philly get to where they want to go, Steve?
Andy, you got to look at what he did. It's because he opted out of his contract, man. He had a players-friendly contract where he could have signed, and Philly wouldn't have had any room to sign any other players. Well, Philly got the players that they need. One in particular, P.J. Tucker. So you bring in a P.J. Tucker, which, by the way, is a good friend of James Harden, and he bodes well for James's game. Man, James said, look, do what you got to do and give me the rest. That's what Philly did. That's a great move by James Harden and the Sixers.
All right. Do you think P.J. Tucker's all they needed to win the East? I think they need a lot more than P.J. Tucker. We'll have to wait and see. All right, college football now. Kirby Smart gets rewarded for his national championship. 10 years, $112.5 million to stay at Georgia. The Bulldogs aren't going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. It's going to be a two-team race in the SEC for a long time, Steve.
Well, Kirby was very smart for cashing in on his chips right now. I can't blame him.
I think you got a little music clip you'd like to play for him on that one, right?
Well, yeah, I guess it ain't just him, bro. It's not just him. It's Harden, and but he was the man. That's what's happening.
All right, and then in college, we'll close the quick hitters out of college football. Heather Dinich of ESPN.com picks the Ohio State Buckeyes to win the national championship at SEC Media Day. Oh, that frowny, grumpy old man on the right, he not too happy about that. He picks Alabama again.
Yeah, way to step out on a limb, Feinbaum.
Yeah, I can't stand this man, okay?
Nice.
There are a lot of people at ESPN that don't know what they're talking about. Put this guy at the top of the list, okay? I won't listen to him. I won't watch him. I don't know where they found him. I don't think he knows a damn thing, and I'm sure as hell not going to listen to anything that comes out of his mouth. All right, so there you go. That's it. That's the quick hitters. I know it wasn't very quick, but we had a lot to get to, Steve. But now I think it's time to get a little tough, a little physical in this show.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, let's go between the gloves. This week's Between the Gloves, I'm going to go talk about two big-time heavyweight championship fights, and then the one that everyone's talking about, the Triple G Canelo. We're going to go inside the numbers and totally break that down, and I'm going to do that with Keeping It Real sports correspondent Andre Morton. But first, we got to talk about what is going to happen and what could possibly happen, and it's getting closer and closer and closer, and people, my sources are telling me this thing is actually going to go down in November. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Crawford Spence. The deal is reportedly close. The hanging point was the rematch clause, where we're looking for to see how that is going to play out. Crawford is already looking ahead to Boots Ennis. He wants Boots Ennis after a Spence fight. We're going to see how this all plays down. But people, I'm excited because we're getting close to Crawford and Spence. The next thing that we're going to talk about is the big fight we're talking about coming up in August. This is going to be undefeated heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk going against Anthony Joshua. Joshua trying to recapture that championship to set up a huge amount of monumental money fight against Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury. Will that come to pass? We don't know, but we're waiting to see. I tell you something else I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see Andy Ruiz and Luis Ortiz. You ask me why? Because Andy Ruiz is looking at another big shot going against DeAndre Wilder. He looks for that. This could be his comeback. Is the thing about Andy Ruiz, we all know, is he in shape? Because we know how we saw him the last time. And this is what we saw the last time. That was him then. This is him now. When Andy Ruiz is in shape and he's ready to rock and roll, man, there is none better, man. He has great boxing skills. I can't wait to see that one. And I tell you something else I can't wait to see. It's September the 17th. Why? Because we're going to get Triple G, Canelo Alvarez 3. And we're going to break that down. And to do that, I'm going to call in the Keeping It Real Sports boxing correspondent. Because when I talk boxing, this is the dude that I call. I called former Detroit boxer Andre Morton. Dre, welcome to the show. How you doing, brother?
What's good, Steve? I'm doing great, man. How are you doing, sir?
Man, blessed by the best. And you know the rest, man. Hey, man, we've already talked about this, man. Hey, man, we have really looked at both of these fights, man. And I know you in particular looked at both of these fights. You kind of went inside of it. Man, give me your thoughts on the very first fight between Triple G and Canelo Alvarez.
Well, the first fight, I believe that Canelo came up in weight and got, my personal opinion, he got shocked by the bigger guy. My opinion, he won the fight. Golovkin won the fight, but it's going to be hard to beat Canelo in a fight with the judges. So I believe that he bit off a little bit more in the first fight with Triple G.
Yeah, and that one was a controversial draw. The one draw important to me, the eye razor, Dre, was the 118-110. How in the hell can you have it 118-110?
Well, unless you were blind and, you were sitting next to you as a buddy of Stevie Wonder's, that couldn't be possible, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So that brings us to Canelo and Triple G 2. What'd you think about that one?
I thought on the Triple G 2, Triple G changed his style up. He normally comes forward, seek and destroy. He tried to outbox Canelo, and I think that's what lost him the fight.
That was a controversial draw, but this one here was a narrow decision for Canelo Alvarez, when some people really thought Triple G won it. When you do competitive box count, Triple G won out of the 24 rounds that they fought. Triple G has scored more punches in 22 of the 24 rounds. I'm just saying.
Yes. And you're saying the right thing, just like I said.
Yeah. So break it down. What do we expect to see, man, on September 17th? What do we expect to see, and who wins it?
As we expect to see the younger, faster Canelo. If depending on his mindset after the Bevo disaster, if his mindset is strong, like we know Canelo can be, probably, I think he wins a good a decision because I think he has speed, youth, and the judges on his side. So that's how I think the fight's going to go.
There you go. I tell you, man, that is the Keeping It Real boxing correspondent, breaking it down, and we keeping it real. There you go. Another edition of Between the Jubs. Hey, let's get back into the hurry up.
Yes, sir.
Hurry up.
All right, Steve, I know a lot of people are looking forward to that Canelo Triple G, rubber match there. So great job of you guys breaking that one down. But we got a lot of breaking down to do ourselves right now, and we're going to look at some NFL storylines coming up with training camp starting at the end of this week. And I think there's no better place to start than the champs, right? We got to start with the champs, don't we?
Got to. What do I say, Andy? The rings and things that you sing about, my LA Rams can bring them out, and boy, did they do it in a big way this week. Wow!
How about this? The most carat weight ever in the history of a sports championship ring. Now that doesn't say Los Angeles, my friend.
We do it big, baby.
It really is a gorgeous ring, though, Steve. I was looking at, we only have one shot of it here, but I was looking at from the top down. They've actually got a cutout of SoFi Stadium.
Of the SoFi Stadium
really
inside,
cool.
yeah. Because if you look at the sides, that is the size of SoFi Stadium, is the size of the ring. It's a beautiful thing. But don't worry, I'll have mine. Mine will be here soon.
Yeah, and I know you're gonna, do one of these too when you get it, right?
I just may have to. I don't know.
I want you to. I want to see it. But let's clarify something for the viewers out there, because they might think, we're making the big bucks. It's a replica, folks. It's not the real thing.
Look. As long as it's sent by them, I don't give a damn.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You're not paying for it.
Right.
Exactly. So, all right, what else you want to look at? I think there's only one story that still
The
needs to be
biggest
talked about.
storyline.
Yeah, and it's this one right here.
Yeah.
Why haven't the Baltimore Ravens ponied up? Steve Taylor, what are they waiting on?
I don't know, but you know what? Every day that goes by, this gets worse. And 2 days ago, it started to happen because this happened. Now, this was 2 days ago. Now, that's Lamar 2 days ago. It's not about he's saying all of the right stuff, okay? And then this happened. Okay,
yeah.
This happened the other day. Okay, he got 230 million. Okay, 230 and a half. 230 and a half million. So
because that extra half's gonna make that.
Oh
much
yeah. So things that change. Hey man, the rules that we lived by yesterday, they changed today. And so now here's Lamar's mindset today. Bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need at least 230.5 million. And you see we got that 0.5 million guaranteed. And you see that? And you know why we got that guarantee with the exclamation points. You know why we got that? That's because your boy got that, Deshaun Watson. Because what have I done that Deshaun Watson haven't? Because I got an MVP. This is what I do, people. I'm gonna have to get paid. I'm gonna need that, bro.
Yeah, for sure. There are quite a few other storylines. We don't have time in this show to get to all of them, but let's take a look at some of the others. And let's start out west in your division. The 49ers this week gave Jimmy Garoppolo an opportunity to talk to someone to be traded. So he is no longer their number one quarterback, which means the answer to this question: can Trey Lance elevate the 49ers without Jimmy G to fall back on? At least what we're expecting to happen is for him to get traded to either Atlanta, Houston, or Seattle, because they're the only ones that need a starting quarterback. Can he get it done, Steve, in his second year? I don't know about his second year. I think that he was a good draft pick for them. I think it might be the right direction for them to go to with Shanahan. But, Steve, we're talking about one of, if not the toughest division to win in the NFC. I just don't see him making the playoffs.
You got to realize, they selected Trey Lance when Justin Fields was on the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so you get what you get. Now, my reports are telling me half of them are saying that the kid is looking decent. The other half is saying, and these reports are accurate, that this dude they're changing his throwing motion. His arm is hurting after practices. Bro, you in the NFC West. You ain't going, and you know what the NFL stands for? Not for long.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting decision there in San Francisco for sure. But John Lynch is a good GM, and I think that they know what they're doing out there. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, that's going to be a fun storyline to watch, right? Here's another fun one to watch in the AFC West. What weapons now does Patrick Mahomes rely on that they got rid of Tyreek Hill?
Well, Andy, they lost the big-time playmaker over the top. But look what they brought in. They brought in Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They brought in Juju Smith-Schuster. Okay, they already had Nicole Hartman, on the team. You've got the Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer, and Travis Kelce. You got running backs galore. Edwards-Helaire. These dudes are just going to beat you a different way now. They're going to beat you by cuts, small cuts, and let you bleed out, man. This team is dangerous, man.
Yeah, well, and obviously the biggest storyline, and I'm not being a homer on this, I think you would agree with me, is what's going to happen to Deshaun Watson, right? When is the decision going to come out? What's it going to be? Are we looking at a situation where he's going to try to sue the NFL because he thinks they came down too hard on him? Well, in the midst of all that, the Browns said, we need another safety valve, and they go out and get this guy?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a typical Cleveland Browns move because they go out and get the dude. Now, mind you, this dude was selected in the same damn draft as Baker Mayfield. He was the 10th pick. Okay, so we talking about missing on quarterback. So you missed out on the number 1 pick, and then you go replace him with the number 10 pick. Man, come on, Cleveland, you better than that. His skill set is nowhere near what you have in Deshaun Watson and Jacoby Brissett. So you're gonna bring in somebody that's polar opposite from what you're doing. Man, I don't understand the moves of the Cleveland Browns. It's another head scratcher, Andy.
Yeah, and you know what? When they had A.J. McCarron in, I thought maybe they were going to bring him in as another veteran. And, you know, when
He's the same damn thing as Josh Rosen.
He is, but he's seen the field more, Steve. That's all I was saying.
What I'm saying is his skill set is nowhere near Jacoby Brissett and Deshaun Watson. You're going to have to use a totally different playbook. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand it either, but for some reason they decided they needed help, so they signed him. All right, speaking of quarterbacks, you know, we told you last week we were going to break down each division over the next couple weeks.
We had fun doing that. I mean, we had fun doing that from the beginning, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So now let's start with the first one, going to be the AFC East power rankings. We're going to go with the AFC East. All right. We got Zach Wilson at number 4, right?
Yeah. Zach Wilson, I mean, this is the no-brainer, man. He's up and coming. I think he's going to be better this year because he's going to have targets to throw to. He's got the kid from Ohio State that they got. Man, you know, his quarterback range almost to 70. Man, he's going to have to improve, man, the interceptions over touchdowns. But Zach Wilson will definitely improve. Man, to me, it was a no-brainer to put him at number 4.
All right, number 3, you and I had a long discussion about 2 and 3, but we finally came to an agreement. And the reason we have number 3 where he is because we just don't think he can win, right?
Well, Mac Jones, man, had a great year. Man, his 92.5 point QB rating was pretty good. His touchdown interceptions was bad. He's going to have to cut down on that. He threw for 3,000 yards, man, 3,800 yards, man. So my hat's off to the kid. But what I'm looking at is situationally, can Mac Jones elevate the New England Patriots? I thought where he is right now, he's going to have to show me another year. He had a good year. Bring it back this year. Show me something different, Mac. Mad Mac. But right now, I got you number 3, man, in keeping the real sports quarterback rank.
All right, then that means number 2 has got to be Tua.
Yeah, Tua Tagovailoa, man, he's starting to get it. 90 quarterback rating, man. He's going to have to improve, man, on the touchdown and interception ratio. But I tell you what, they brought in studs for him, man. He's got big-time targets. Now, we're talking about Kansas City's weapon. Well, they went and got Kansas City's number 1 weapon, man. And he's the fastest man on the planet. I'm talking about Tyreek Hill. So they got him. You match him with those other guys, man, the Waddle, and then some of the running backs that they brought in. Oh, my goodness. Miami is, hey, look, they could be real quiet. One of the playoff teams, man, in that AFC. Keep an eye on the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, and it's funny we're talking about the AFC East because to me, the pressure quarterback-wise is on Wilson and Tagovailoa because they went out and said, okay, you're right. You don't have any talent yet. We're going to go get the talent, and you got to prove that you're the guy now.
Absolutely.
Well, we know who the guy is in Buffalo, and he's going to be there for a long time, and this was a no-brainer, obviously. Josh Allen, number 1.
Yeah, Josh Allen, number 1, man. And everybody has him in, like, their top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL, man. And we'll look at where we have him rated. But, man, Andy, what I want to bring attention to is his quarterback rating at 92. Josh Allen, do you realize year before last year, his quarterback ranking was 112? Did you know that? What I'm telling you is Josh Allen fell off. Then you said he had a great year, and now he loses his offensive coordinator in Brian Daboll. They bring in Ken Dorsey. Brian Daboll is now the new head coach for the New York Giants. You know, my question is, does his play continue to decline? Let's not pay attention to that. That is big. We have to pay attention to it.
Well, I mean, he was in the top 3 voting for MVP. I wouldn't call that declining just because a number went down. He almost took them to the Super Bowl last year, and he will take them to the Super Bowl this year. Yeah, I'm going there already. Okay.
All righty.
So let's sum it up. Let's take a look at the AFC East one more time. So here's our division rankings, and here's our overall rankings, right? We got Josh Allen 1. We decided that number 4 was the right spot for him overall. We'll tell you about who's ahead of him in the next couple of weeks. We've got 2 at number 2, 20th overall. We've got Mac Jones at number 3, 22nd overall. And then Zach Wilson at 4, 29th overall. But, Steve, by the end of this year, all these rankings could change.
They absolutely could. I absolutely expect Zach Wilson to be a better quarterback this year. Mac Jones, for crying out loud, is going to be you know what? Everybody in this division could make a rise, man, in their play, man. I'm just telling you, man, this could quietly be one of the dogfight divisions.
One other thing I want to talk about before we go. You talked about Dable leaving Allen. McDaniels left Mac Jones.
True. And we don't know who the hell calling plays, man, for New England.
Correct. So that to me is a bigger loss because at least Ken Dorsey's been an offensive coordinator and Ken Dorsey's worked with other quarterbacks and had some success. We don't know what the hell's going on in New England. So we'll have to wait and see. But
yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Number 43 in the books.
It, bro?
And you know what's funny about that? I just turned 42 2 days ago. So there you go.
Yeah. Happy birthday and all of that good stuff, man.
Appreciate that. Thank you. I had a great time with the family, and I have a great time on this show every week. But, it's been fun. But like you say, Steve, we got to run. So until next time, we'll wish you love.
And peace. Deuces.